What's going on, guys? Josh here, Full of Games. Yesterday marked a momentous occasion in the gaming world. I mean, absolutely monumental news broke yesterday. Microsoft and Xbox just bought Bethesda. Let that sink in for a little bit. Microsoft, Xbox just purchased Bethesda. Of all game studios, Bethesda. This is absolutely groundbreaking, and I think Sony has a few things to worry about now. Let's start this off by talking about Microsoft for a minute here. Now, Microsoft has been buying up game studios for the past few years, with one of their biggest acquisitions being Mojang for $2.5 billion in order to acquire the license for Minecraft. And while that business deal was an absolutely astronomical amount of money to purchase a game studio, it has paid dividends off to Microsoft in the long run. And I think that was a good business deal in my opinion. Now, this most recent acquisition finds Microsoft paying $7.5 billion in order to acquire Bethesda game studios. That is absolutely insane. This has to be a record of some sort for any acquisition of any game studio of history, honestly. And Sony really needs to be worried about the future of the PS5, not so much the present, and here's why. Sony has a couple of games coming to the PS5 from Bethesda, Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. So what does this recent acquisition mean for these two games? Well, luckily it doesn't really mean a whole heck of a lot right now. As stated by Phil Spencer, our plan is to leave it alone. ZeniMax has an amazing track record of building great games. Our goal is to make ZeniMax the best ZeniMax they can be, Spencer added. Working individually with their studios on the great platform technologies that we have and getting their creators' feedback into the things we need to go build. That's just a critical flywheel for us. And even Jason Schreier tweeted in with this. To answer the question everyone is asking, Phil Spencer tells @DinaBass that Xbox plans to honor the PS5 exclusivity commitment for Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. Future Bethesda games will be on Xbox, PC, and other consoles on a case-by-case basis. So for now, it does seem like that they are going to get those exclusives, and they still will be time exclusives for the PS5, and later on we'll probably see them on the Xbox and PC respectively. But that's only telling us one side of the story though. Even though we are still getting these games on the PS5, what is the future of the PS5 looking like without Bethesda games on the platform? This is the question I find myself asking, and something I think Sony should address really soon. Not being able to play games like the Elder Scrolls series, Doom, Prey, Dishonored, Starfield could be a pretty big detriment to Sony and actually hurt their bottom line in the long run as far as PS5 sales go. So how is Sony going to combat this power play move laid out by Microsoft? And yes, this is a power play move on Microsoft's behalf and what seems like to block certain games from going over to the competitors' platforms. But how is Sony going to combat this? One area where I feel like Sony actually has a fighting chance in taking on Microsoft is in the streaming service. The PS Now service is in dire need of a reform, and it's still $20 a month, and you can only play PS4 games on it and not even PS3 games anymore, as last I checked anyway. So right there, the Xbox Games Pass already has backwards compatibility with Xbox One games and Xbox 360 games, and is going to be moving forward to the Xbox series of consoles. So right there is already a leg up in Microsoft's behalf again. So Sony really needs to combat them on that front and lower the price of the PS Now service as well as giving us other games and better games on that service in order for people to actually move over and migrate from Microsoft or whatever platform they were on to a PS5. That would be a much better play for Sony to actually do in order to take on Microsoft instead of trying to take this head on by acquiring a different studio or more studios to get more exclusive for the PS5 console. That is just a no-brainer in my opinion. Now, some people and I were talking about this and we were kind of laughing and we were just thinking about what studios that Sony could actually acquire in order to, combat Microsoft in this, and Capcom came up. Now, if Sony could acquire Capcom, that would be huge. They would have the Street Fighter series, the Resident Evil series. They could block off these certain games to their competitors, to Microsoft, to the PC even if they wanted to. But if that were to happen, that'd be a huge play on Sony's behalf in order to acquire a different game company, and that would be a really big acquisition. But I don't see Sony doing that. I don't think Sony is going to go out and just buy game companies at random in order to combat Microsoft over the Bethesda acquisition. I think Sony is actually going to lay low and tout their PS5 more as a multimedia platform instead of just a gaming console. And they really need to focus their efforts on the PS Now service because the Xbox Game Pass is really killing them in that front as far as price and what you get out of the service. Now, while I do feel this is a big blow to Sony, I don't think it's going to spell gloom and doom for the next generation PS5. I just think that Sony has a lot of work ahead of them in order to compete with the Xbox this generation. And as far as Xbox goes, with the acquisition of Bethesda and all the Bethesda games and franchises, only time will tell, because Microsoft is still going to look at some of these games on a case-by-case basis in order to release them on different platforms. And there is one company that I think will come out of this unscathed, and that is Nintendo. Nintendo and Microsoft have a pretty good working relationship, and as far as the Xbox brand goes in Japan, it's not very sought after, it's not well received over there. So with games like Ori and the Blind Forest and Cuphead coming over to the Switch, or have come over to the Switch already, is only helping to solidify the Xbox brand in Japan. And I really can't see Microsoft or Xbox taking away Bethesda games from Nintendo in order just to get some exclusives and really hurt Nintendo on that front, since Nintendo has been helping them out with recent titles of theirs. So what do you think about Microsoft and Xbox acquiring Bethesda? Sound off in the comment section below. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. And if you like this video, hit that like button, it really helps out the channel. Also, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. Be sure to check out all the socials down in the links below. And as always guys, I'm Josh with For Love of Games, signing out. Have a great day.